Hey everybody, welcome back to the weekend edition of the show. Today's episode 2305. If you want to follow along with the questions, you can head on over to stephencabral.com/2305 or just stephencabral.com/podcast and check out all the previous shows as well. So I'm opening up the big document, the mega document with all of the questions from the past 6+ years, 5,000 plus questions. And we are going to dive right in. So I always love to give you some type of rant typically at the beginning of these shows. I'm not going to do that today. And that is because I want to answer as many of these questions as possible. And as I'm opening up this document, again, I never read it ahead of time. I don't prepare for these questions ahead of time. I give you my clinical-based response for having done this for many, many years and seen well over 250,000 people and probably somewhere around 20,000 appointments or so per year that I oversee. So it's a lot. It's amazing. It is my life's work. I truly love it. And I'm just here trying to teach, trying to share what I've seen from what I consider one of the largest research studies that's really been happening. And so we went from a Boston-based practice to now a virtual practice, helping people all over the world. So that is that. I absolutely love what I do. I love being able to take your questions, and let's do that right now. First question is from Jessica. Jessica says, hi, I'm a 30-year-old female, overall healthy. I developed a rash when I was about 19 that has been biopsied multiple times. Initially, it showed some generalized inflammation, nothing specific. Most recently, it was concerning for cutaneous T-cell lymphoma. The physician I saw still decided to label it Parapsoriasis because he didn't want to put lymphoma in my chart. Labs have always been normal, show no blood involvement. Treatment options are topical steroids, light therapy. Let's see. There's not much data. I can't find, from a functional medicine perspective, maybe some data to show clustering of cells, which could indicate an environmental trigger. Any suggestion onto what the root cause may be for functional medicine treatments? Okay, so it's a perfect time as we're using the word treatment. I'm going to give you my disclaimer. I'm not here to provide any medical advice, any medical treatment protocols, any medical treatment cures, or anything medical-based at all. I'm here to provide you with, essentially, a second opinion, another way of looking at these issues from a much more natural-based perspective. So you and I both know, Jessica, that parapsoriasis is just a label that they're putting on you because they don't exactly know yet what to label this. And that's because it's basically in an in-between stage. Could be something, may not be anything. Here's what we need to do. We need to get your body as healthy as humanly possible. That's the truth, right? So what more is there to do if your body's already healthy? There's nothing more to do. Honestly, I want everybody to think about that. It's why I run my Big 5 labs every single year. In the last 2 years, I've actually been running them twice, March and September. So my birthday's in March, September 6 months later. There you go. And the reason is that you always want to be checking hey, what's going on with my body? So Jessica, what I would say to you is let's make sure inflammation levels are balanced. Have you run an omega-3 inflammation test yet? Have you run a hormone test yet? Have you run a candida metabolic and vitamins test for your gut yet? These are all things that I think are great to run. Have you run a minerals and metals test to look for heavy metals? So I would run the Big 5. All the labs I always talk about are at stephencabral.com/labs. You'll find them all there. And that's absolutely what I would do. That is absolutely what I would do. Because again, we don't know, right? And in functional medicine or integrative health, there is no guesswork. So we don't guess. That's the nice thing. We can run labs for every part of your body, every system of the body, gut-based, hormones, omega-3s, and inflammation. And if this was my own family, we're family. We are a health community that's a strange community that we actually want to do things to improve our overall health naturally. That's what I recommend for you. All right. Douglas is up next. Hi there. Love all the knowledge you share and have learned so much from the labs and your podcast. Thank you, Douglas. Thank you for your noble mission you are on. Your life's work is truly inspiring. Thank you again. I appreciate that. For the last 8 months, I've been taking your daily nutritional support and crisp apple daily fruit and vegetable blend. Both are outstanding. So I have a brain injury, 6 to 7 concussions in my life, low elastase with my pancreas. I'm 6'5", 230 pounds. But in the labs, I've done a mold detox and probably a functional medicine cleanse or detox. I'm feeling like I have more energy. I'm doing the gut healing protocol for the longest time, 20 years. I've been a lightweight When drinking alcohol, I drink maybe a glass of wine or a cocktail once a month at most. I instantly feel sleepy when I have a glass. I can't even drink a whole glass sometimes as I have a sensation it's after midnight and I should be asleep. I do not intend to want to drink more. Should I fix this? Just want to know in case there is something unhealthy with my body, such as missing a key enzyme. What are your thoughts? Thanks, Douglas. Okay. I'm happy to help. You sound like you're on track. I mean, you're doing amazing. So, I mean, I don't want to throw you off track at all. Keep on keeping on. So here's the thing. The less you drink, the less you can handle alcohol. That's literally the truth. Hopefully we all understand like the first experience we ever had with alcohol. For most people, you got maybe a little tipsy after a half a glass, right? The less you drink, the less tolerance you have, the less enzymes you're ready to produce. That's always what I've asked kind of experts in this particular field. Like, hey, why is it that you can drink 12 drinks in a night when you're in college, but you can't, 5 years later, you're not that much older, right? It's like, well, what's going on? Well, you gradually build up a tolerance. You can build up a tolerance to medications. You can build up a tolerance to alcohol. So that's one reason. The second is like, well, even if you have poor detox pathways, like my genetics are pretty bad for detox, some of the worst. But in college, I could drink a whole lot of alcohol. Now, not so much. Maybe I could drink 3 drinks, right? I haven't drank 3 drinks in, I don't even know how long, years and years and years. 1 drink, though every once in the greatest while, 2 drinks. Like it might happen. I know you can see how exciting I might be to go out and party with, maybe once or twice a year. That I would have 2 drinks, like maybe. Typically, if I have a drink, it's 1 drink. So maybe nothing wrong with you is what I'm trying to say. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So, but we do have the elastase-based issue. My goal is to continue on the protocol you're on right now. That's what I would say to you. And you may simply want to use digestive enzymes with your meals. Daily digestive enzyme, if you're not already, great. And then you may, not forever, but you may want to use a proteolytic enzyme like the chlorophyll upon waking and before bed. So that might be it. And again, not necessarily forever. I think you're doing great. I just don't want to throw you off track. All right, Angie's up next. Hello, Dr. Cabral. Thank you for all you do. You are truly inspiring. Thank you, Angie. I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism after the birth of my son. The same day I gave birth, I had a miscarriage 3.5 years ago, or 3.5 years later, and was diagnosed with essential thrombocythemia. It's an uncommon disorder with no cure, according to my hematologist. I do not have the JAK2 gene mutation, but I do have a less severe gene mutation that somehow became activated. I do not always have these disorders and was curious if you could make any recommendations about getting my body back in balance. I've been seeing a naturopath since I was diagnosed with low thyroid, asked about leaky gut. There were tests we could run, but she wasn't interested in running tests. She told me to do a low FODMAP diet instead. I'm meeting with a functional doctor next week, and I hope she will be more open to running tests. In the past, I've had a food sensitivity test, and I'm sensitive to a huge list of foods. I did a hormone test a few years back as well. My progesterone is low. Testosterone is barely registering. Lately, I've been feeling bloated and gassy, even when following the low FODMAP list. Thanks so much, Angie. All right. So again, I love this industry. Love it, absolutely love it, but not everyone's created equal. Like it's just that's just the way that it is. Like in terms of like how you practice, not everybody is equal. I've seen that too much now. For you to come in to a naturopath with gut issues, diagnosed low thyroid and miscarriage, you're running labs. Like you're just running labs, bottom line. And the reason is you're just wasting time. That's how I look at it. So you've been doing this now for at least 12 weeks, right? And you didn't get the results you wanted. And the reason is that when you get to a certain level, if you're an integrative health practitioner, especially level 2, you know that when you have candida overgrowth or a small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or you have parasites, or you have a H. pylori issue, you're not fixing it with FODMAP alone. No, you're just not. Because you are not rebalancing the gut, you're just shrinking it. So everybody going on keto or carnivore because of gut issues or doing low FODMAP because of gut issues is not fixing the issue. They're just shrinking it. And so, yeah, they don't feel as many symptoms. But guess what? If you ever eat carbohydrates again, which, by the way, 100% of people do, you're going to get the bloating and gas again. It's not the way to do it. All right. And your low progesterone is most likely why you had that miscarriage, if it happened within the first 12 weeks. All right. So, but now we go back. Well, essential thrombocythemia, not related to JAK2. I've got podcasts on JAK2, by the way, and why people produce more and more platelets. Not radically dissimilar. Here's what I would do. I would look into autoimmune-based issues stemming from potentially gut-based issues. And by the way, the immune system changes while you are pregnant on purpose to be able to not attack the unborn child you are creating inside of you. So all of these things can really be rebalanced. They really can. In my opinion, again, I'm not giving medical advice, they can. You're going to see a functional medicine doctor. Make sure they vibe with what you're looking for. If not, you know what? There's a lot of functional medicine doctors, and not all of them practice the same. So find a good integrative health practitioner level 2, or work with our EcoLife team, or go and look for another naturopathic doctor that's interested in running labs. So again, you have a lot of options. Don't stop until you get your answers. That's the bottom line. I didn't stop. It took me 3 years to just get a good diagnosis. And then, well, I wish I found the right practitioner earlier, but again, I also wish that I don't. I wish that everything happened exactly how it happened, because now I know so much about this journey, the path that others are on in healing, because it took me a long time to get well. So I wish you the best, Angie. You're going to find your answers. There's no doubt about it. You can find the answers to this, no doubt. All right, Thomas is up next. Thomas says, hey, Dr. Weirall, I've been listening to your podcast for about 4 years and share as much of the knowledge as I can remember with others. Oh, that's great. That is absolutely. People always ask, hey, how I can, thank you, repay you, whatever it might be. I'm like, listen, don't need anything. Appreciate that. Just share it with someone else. That's literally the bottom line. That's my favorite thing. I want the podcast to be free forever. I want to teach forever. And so that's my favorite thing. My wife in particular has experienced more balanced hormones and a better sense of awareness from all of your teachings. That's fantastic. You are the savior, a savior, and we can't thank you enough. All right. Well, I appreciate that, Thomas. I really do. And again, I'm not good at taking thank yous. I'm not good at taking praise like many people, but it does mean a lot to me. I mean, this is why I do what I do. I really do. I just become overwhelmed, to be honest with you. I get overwhelmed with thinking that I had even a small part to play in people getting well. So I'm going to take a deep breath, step back, get to Thomas's question. One mystery that I can't seem to pinpoint is her coughing after eating any meal, spicy, sweet, or salty. Even if it's just cooked vegetables with no oil and very light seasoning, could cause coughing. All right. So no, it's not a very broad food allergy, because that's what you're asking. You have to ask this question. If she just has white rice and let's say some broccoli, right? Or white rice, broccoli, and like a little chicken, but no seasoning at all. No seasoning at all. Is there coughing? If the answer is no, good. Then we have the answer. Or if her answer is no, there isn't, it's only when we add salt or some type of spice, okay, then it makes sense. Because now we have some type of immune-based response, or we have some type of histamine-based response, some type of like over-inflammatory process to a normal thing like a little bit of spice. By the way, many people have this. They create more mucus in their throat, in their esophagus. And that is because their body overreacts to some of these spices. These are typically people with gut issues, okay? That's why it happened to me. Typically people with not enough of an enzyme called diamine oxidase, DAO. Sometimes there's genetic issues, yes, but it can simply be that they have yeast overgrowth, they have bacterial overgrowth, they have H. pylori, they've got parasites, they've got some issue in the gut, right? So again, StephenCabral.com/labs. Check out the gut bundle. That's a great one to run, for gut-based issues. Okay, but let's say that her answer is no. It's like every time she eats, she gets coughing or lightheadedness, or every time you eat, there's a reaction. Okay, that is something I've seen in my practice more towards dysautonomia. Even achalasia. Achalasia is like high-level stress. We look up achalasia on my podcast. You'll find the answers because I've worked with people with achalasia in my practice. So dysautonomia is that the body's like overwhelmed. It's overwhelmed. It's been chronically stressed for a long time, and it doesn't necessarily know how to balance sympathetic and parasympathetic dominance, which means that when your wife goes to eat, she's maybe in the sympathetic nervous system. So she's already more amped up, and there can't relax the nervous system in order to be able to digest properly. That's another answer to look into. That's more to look at the full big five. So that's the full big five. See if I can say that properly. If you want to look at the full dysautonomia picture, you really have to look at all of it because the minerals and metals test so important. Stress, mood, and metabolism so important. Candida, metabolic, and vitamins test so important. Omega-3 levels so important. And if you didn't do the food sensitivity, it'd be no big deal. So if you want to do those four without that, you could. But certainly, ideally, you look at the food sensitivities as well. All right, Justin is up next. Justin says, I've been taking 1 teaspoon of baking soda mixed in 4 to 5 ounces of water almost nightly for the past year. I've heard it keeps you from having to get up frequently to urinate, which has been an issue for me. I've also heard that it was good for your kidneys. Sometimes it seems like it helped the frequent urination, and other times not. However, I recently heard that frequent consumption of baking soda can neutralize stomach acids, causing a host of problems. What are the benefits of baking soda, and what would be the best dosage for the average person? This is a great question, Justin. I am purposely not going to answer your question today, and you might be upset with me. Totally understand. But this is so nuanced. But there are benefits to taking baking soda, which is sodium bicarbonate. Justin, if you really want to go deep on this, there's a book that was written, I don't know, maybe like 20, 30 years ago. I've read it now twice. It's literally called Sodium Bicarbonate. It's a blue cover of the book. I can't remember the author's name, but I know for sure it's called Sodium Bicarbonate. And so let me give you, let me answer your question. I can't not answer your question. I just can't tell you how much to do and if it's right for you because I don't know your levels, right? So baking soda is sodium mixed, or sodium, like minerals have to be connected to something. This is connected to bicarbonate, okay? So this is alkaline. It's highly alkaline, and it can stop stomach acid. So it can slow stomach acid production. So it can actually be used as an antacid, right? But the thing is, you're taking it before bed 3 hours or so after you ate, so that you don't have to necessarily worry about that. I wouldn't be worried about it. Can it help the kidneys? It can actually, because it can help buffer acids. And the kidney has to deal with acids. It literally, your kidneys, believe it or not, produce more bicarbonate on their own. They are part of the big mechanism for balancing pH that a lot of people don't know about. So it could absolutely help balance or help with frequent urination if it is an acid-based imbalance, which for some people it is. Some people, urination is based on blood sugar. Some people, it's based on cortisol levels. Sometimes it's based on even so low glucose during the evening when you wake up during the night and then your body's up, it turns off what? Antidiuretic hormone, and now you're urinating. So, or having to go to the bathroom to urinate. So I can't tell you the exact dosage, right? But because it's a supplement and I don't know that it's right for you, but you know what? That's the reason why I wanted to pause on this. I'm going to do a podcast talking more about sodium bicarb. All right. Thank you, Justin. Really great question. And now it's been mental noted to do a podcast on that. Patty's up next and last. Patty says, thank you for significantly helping both myself and my son to live a better life, and your team for being so responsive and helpful. By the way, I have an amazing team. I always love to give them a shout out. They are the best of the best, like committed, driven, want to help people. If you send an email Monday through Friday to support@equa.life, you're getting an answer back, or at least saying, listen, we got it. We hear you. We're going to figure this out. You'll get that back typically under an hour. We track our response time. Lately it's been like 16 minutes. I mean, that's pretty fast, right? I mean, I don't know. I think I have an amazing team. I really appreciate them. So Patty says, I just listened to the podcast where you answered a question on a hip replacement. What are your thoughts on cortisone shots for pain? Also, antibiotics are recommended for dental work after joint replacements. What are the alternatives? Thank you. Okay. So I can't give you an alternative to antibiotics because then I would be giving you medical advice. So I can't do that. But I have so many podcasts on antibiotics. So please do listen to that. Please do type in antibiotics. Please do check out antibiotics. If you're going to take antibiotics, that you'd want to use the Clean Gut Probiotic and the Healthy Gut Support for at least a month to make sure that you don't have that yeast overgrowth or you don't have bacterial overgrowth. So big fan of that. Cortisone shots. Well, if a cortisone shot will allow you to do physical therapy and exercise without pain in order to rebalance the body, then I'm not necessarily against it. I'm against cortisone shots just to get rid of the pain and not do anything to help with the structure of the body. So again, I'm not necessarily against it if it will allow you to do the work that needs to be done in order to help the body. I would much rather start with something like a Inflammasoothe and some omega-3 support and some daily nutritional support, those three at least, to work on balancing healthy levels of inflammation while doing some self-myofascial release or working with a good active release therapist, like a good chiro that does that type of work. That's what I would do for sure. And I have did when I tore my labrum in my shoulder. That's exactly what I did. I used my typical protocol, added in the Inflammasoothe, and then did the work first with a physical therapist that got me a little bit of results, but not enough. Then I did some great work with a chiropractor that's an active release therapist, and we did some really great work in rehab there, and now it feels great. And so I didn't have to do surgery, which was great. Happy about that. So that's that. A downside, don't keep doing cortisone shots because honestly, not only can it mess with your immune system, it's been shown that to make people more prone to concussions or head injuries, which is not good at all. So hopefully this was helpful. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I appreciate you. You know that I do. Thank you so much for your reviews of the show. I love that, of course, being able to read all your reviews. So if you haven't left a review, if you could do so, that would, of course, mean the world to me. But more than anything, I just love you being able to share the knowledge. So thanks so much. Take care. And I'll talk with you tomorrow on our Mindset and Motivation Monday.